This prize, this belt, not only for myself, I'm very pleased, my family and everybody else, but it's for the people, because they were the ones that were behind me. I went out there and I did it for the people, and I tell you, it's a heck of a feeling to have all those people, that all crowd behind me cheer for you.
Certainly no question about that. And, of course, wrestling, too, it was rather a curious turn of events that brought the national championship to Steve.
Yes, it certainly was. As a matter of fact, I understand you have some film on that, and I think that will explain it more than even more so than I can.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's do then. Let's journey back in time to the Omni and take a look. We're going to see a situation now with Sullivan and Davis. And, well, it'll be sort of somewhat self-explanatory. There's Kevin Sullivan moving into the ring. The Anderson brothers in there, and Mike Davis. And, of course, Davis has had a thing trying to settle a score with these Andersons for quite a while.
The Anderson brothers, that just goes to show you exactly what kind of thing they're made of. You know, that's typical of their attacks. They like to pick on someone, especially when he's down. I don't know what they have against this particular individual, but it seems like every time they have a chance, not only with him, but anyone, they always jump on his case. But I kind of made it my business. I saw an opportunity, boy, and I flew in there with everything I had, because I've had it up to here with the Anderson brothers, needless to say.
Well, that's certainly understandable, and of course here you got a situation of 2-on-1, and you're faring as well as anybody could be expected to fare against two men like the Anderson.
Well, as you see, the Anderson, the two of them got me under control, got me down a little bit, but I still had a lot of fire in me, and I was going to come back no matter what. I had the spark, the drive, the whatever you want to call it, to get after these guys, and by golly, that's exactly what I did. But you know, two men, anytime you tangle with two men, you're going to have your hands full, especially with the Anderson brothers.
All right, and Steve Keirn suddenly making his presence felt here very, very solidly, and now we got Steve-O, and of course a regular free-for-all.
Yes, needless to say, you know, and Steve, Steve and Steve Keirn, both of them are supermen and absolute great athletes, needless to say. But, you know, the Anderson brothers, I have had it up to here with you guys. And I want you to know, and everyone else to know, that I've got it down now, pal, because your time is coming. I have talked to a man that I have had more tough battles with than anyone has ever seen. And each and every one of you out here know who I'm talking about, because he also wears a mask with a star on it, and I'm talking about the Superstar. He is going to be my partner, and Anderson brothers, let me tell you something. You are going to feel a sting that you've never seen before, because Superstar and I are going to rip you from end to end and tear you out and put you out of commission if it's the last thing we do. Because Superstar, I know what he's made of, and he knows what I'm made of, and we're going to come after you with everything we got, and that's going to be in the Omni, pal. The Omni is where it's going to happen. Superstar and Wrestling 2 against the Anderson brothers.
There you have it. It will happen at the Omni on April 12th at 8 p.m. Steve Keirn going up against the Anderson. But, of course, as a result of all of this, you ended up wrestling the Mongolian Stomper for the National Heavyweight Championship instead of Dusty Rhodes. But, again, we're at that point where I think pictures would speak better than words, so let's switch back to the Omni and see what happened during this tag team match. All right, of course, it was you and Steve Keirn against the Anderson brothers, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Well, you can see here now that during the course of the match, we're quite a ways into the match now, and Carson saw fit that he should come out and cheer for the Anderson brothers. Well, Keirn and I are just lucky that Dusty Rhodes happened to be watching, and the Dream took it upon himself. Keirn and I, you know, things turned out a little bit disastrously for him, but Keirn and I at the time were very happy to see him. Because when Carson's hanging around the ring, you never know what he's going to be up to. He's gotten the Stomper out of a lot of tight squeezes, and it just seemed like that he was going to try to do the same thing with the Anderson brothers. As you can see here, Dusty chased him off. And the match continued. It was a tough match. You know, the Anderson brothers are one of the toughest tag team combinations in this part of the area, also throughout the country. And here you can see Don Carson. Dusty thought he had taken off back to the dressing room, but he snuck back to hit him over the head with a 2x4 when Dusty wasn't looking. And there you can see Dusty laying on the ground. Of course, I had to continue with the Anderson brothers in the middle of the ring, and Keirn took it upon himself to take it out on Carson. And you can see everything's breaking loose here. And poor Dusty's lying on the ground.
Well, it was a sneak attack by Don Carson, and of course, it looks to me like the two of you had to take matters into your own hands to settle the issue and clear the ring.
There was a lot of matters to take into our own hands. You know, Ole and Gene were standing there, and Don Carson hanging around. You never know if he's got a 2x4 or what else he had. You know, I think Dusty Rhodes, you know, I was just proud to be in Dusty Rhodes' corner. You know, the American dream, everything he stands for. You know, the man is a true legend, and just being around the man is a real treat. But when somebody comes up behind him and does something like that, they're trying to take away the legend and trying to bring down the dream, and I don't think they can do it.
Well, I don't think so either, and I'll tell you what, earlier in the week, during this past week, Dusty Rhodes videotaped a very, very special message, and let's listen to that message right at this time. Dusty Rhodes with a word for Don Carson.
Yeah, it's a different situation going on right now. In every major event that happens around the country, there is always some way to get equal, some way to get even, some way to get bad. I hate to, because sometimes it inflicts pain on me. Go in and pull out the bull rope. I hate to pull out the bull rope, because when I do, you know it means I get bad. You know whoever's on the other end will feel the pain, the blues, and the agony. And, Daddy, you can't sing the blues unless you had them. And Don Carson, in the Omni, when you strap this piece of rawhide with this bell on it and it's ringing, you're going to be thinking about why you hit me in the back with a 2x4. You're going to be wondering why you're going to be taken out with the bull rope and Omni.
Okay, there we have it. No question about Dusty Rhodes and how he feels about the situation. Of course, at that time at the Omni, he was rendered unconscious and, of course, was unable to go into his match against the Stomper.
Well, you know, they've had so many injuries as of late. The doctor, the physician on the scene, recommended very highly that Dusty Rhodes not go back out. And from what has happened in the past, I can't blame him one bit. You know, there's going to be another time to fight Don Carson, to fight the Stomper, and Dusty Rhodes knows that, and he's going to fight him on his own terms.
All right now, then, let's take a look at all of these events that led up to Steve-O and the National Heavyweight Championship. Let's take a look at that now. There's the Stomper, of course, in the ring. At that time, he was the National Heavyweight Champion. Dusty Rhodes, who was scheduled to wrestle, could not, and you're taking his place.
Well, you know, Carson and the Stomper were just ecstatic that Dusty Rhodes was not around. They thought they had things going their own way. And right now, they're just kind of laughing, joking to themselves because they had taken care of Dusty Rhodes, and then they just left me. So, you know, when the people start cheering for you and the adrenaline starts flowing, it's a whole different story. You get inside the Omni, you know, and it's one of the biggest arenas in the country. And when the people start cheering for you, I may say this a lot of times, but, you know, it drives wrestlers on to things. It drives them on to things they never thought they could achieve. In the Olympics, you know, the adrenaline flows. It drives athletes on. But it was just the same way in the Omni. It drove me to come up with something I never thought I could come up with, and it was just enough to get by in the match.
Well, it's the one thing that coaches can't teach, as far as I'm concerned, Steve, and that's there's no way you can teach somebody to have heart. You either have heart and intestinal fortitude or you don't. And you have certainly proved, as everyone will see during this match, you have proved that you've got that coupled with your tremendous wrestling capabilities, and a beautiful move here.
Well, you see here, I'm trying to go for the airplane spin. In the back of my mind, I know that I got one hold that Don Carson and the Stomper don't like, and that's the airplane spin. I tried to get it on him right there, and Carson once again jumped into the ring. Well, right here, they tried to take advantage of that, but I happened to switch the hold on him and got him into the airplane spin. I'm very confident with the airplane spin. I've won a lot of matches with the airplane spin, and it's been very good for me. And it just so happened that right here, it brought me the national championship.
It did indeed, in a solid count of 3, too. Certainly no question about that. A stunned Don Carson charges into the ring. An equally stunned Mongolian Stomper. Those shoulders were down for the count of 3. We saw it, and of course, this man who is with me right now, Steve-O, the new national heavyweight champion, and certainly, again, our congratulations.
Well, you know, Gordon, those are moments I'm going to treasure forever, and I just want to, again, thank everybody, because this belt belongs to them as much as it does me.
Thank you so very much. Steve-O, the new national heavyweight champion. We'll be back in a moment.
From that 206, Harris. His opponent from Charlotte, North Carolina, at 241 pounds, Ric Flair, Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Okay, Harris going up against Ric Flair. Ric Flair, of course, the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, followed so very, very closely that you could almost say it's a dual contention, would be Tommy Wildfire Rich. Flair, outstanding competitor, tremendous physical condition, blocks up collar and elbow, bulls Harris back to the turnbuckle. And Flair, a total picture of self-confidence. And as you can see, Flair very quickly moves in and dominates virtually every match that he's in. Harris hurtled from the ring by Ric Flair. And it is Harris outside the ring, caught by Flair. Flair again using the back of the... Harris caught him coming in, but Flair retaliates very quickly. Flair snapmares him back into the ring. Flair takes him off the ropes, catches him with the back of the elbow. Harris coming up rather slowly, and Flair again closes in. And here's the thing, Flair will take every shortcut available to him. Flair again back on his feet. Harris fires to the midsection, one to the heart, another one to the midsection, and a forearm, but Flair took them all and came back for more. Full body slam by Flair. And it is Flair again using that elbow. Now using the forearm. And this man is doubly effective. Arm whips him off the ropes. Catches him a high backdrop. And Harris is going to have problems in that lumbar region now. And again, you hear Flair saying, tell him that name, tell him that name. He has a massive ego. Certainly no question about that. Flair brings him up. Vertical suplex. Reverse Nelson, it is Flair. Steps into the figure four. And it is on the reverse side. It is on the reverse side. And that is most interesting indeed, that he goes to a reverse side figure four. And instead of going normally to the right side, goes to the left side. We'll try and have a word with Ric Flair about the situation. As I said, of course, this man is the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, closely followed, of course, by Tommy Wildfire Rich, but an interesting...
Closely followed. But Gordon, it's been a long time, right, brother? But when they all want big-time wrestling, when they want to say, sell out, and the biggest name of them all, who do they call, Gordon Soley? They call the Nature Boy. Hey, no brag, just fact. Big money, big towns,